Hello, this is Ed Davidson again. I'd like to show you a repair on some nearly hopeless interior window garnish molding. These pieces were shipped to me and they looked really bad when I opened the box. It was pretty hard to decide if they could be repaired rather than remade, but in the end they turned out better than expected. This is the out-of-the-box condition of the trim. They were from a shop in Nevada, and the damage looked typical of wood kept in a mostly arid, hot, sunny place where the finish was off, mostly in the corners. The wood suffered from dry rot and shrinkage, but there was just enough solid material left to work with. So I decided to remove a section of damaged wood from the corners and replace it with a new, solid bentwood bolster piece. Luckily, most of the bad stuff was on the outside of the curve, so that a rabbiting bit could be used on a small shaper to hog out the corners. And it was at this stage I realized I didn't have the right kind of clamping system for this kind of work. I needed a spring clamp set or old bed springs which can be cut up and used for that purpose. But I came up with something that worked a little better than either of these two, actually. The local cheap tool store had these small plastic units that, when modified, worked with good precision and enough clamping strength for use with epoxy. I disassembled the clamps and inserted small hardened trim nails in the jaws, then ground the nail heads to a point. These clamps, which cost very little to make, are less clumsy than the spring clamp tool system and don't tend to twist and slide the glue faces apart like the bed spring sections. I have to back up here and mention that yes, this piece was steam bent using a wallpaper steamer and PVC pipe, as in some of my previous tutorials. However, you could cut 1/16 inch strips and laminate them in the same form and get the same results. The last thing to mention is the unorthodox finish on these pieces. A revelation to me was the fact that you can use paint to tint this epoxy. I had assumed that the chemical reaction between resin and hardener would be sensitive to anything that was added to it. I know water will not allow it to set, but Rust-Oleum enamel doesn't seem to have any effect on it at all, other than altering the color. All the glue seams in this work are the exact color of the finish is simply the enamel rubbed off to reveal the grain. This is also known as pickling. Then everything was top coated with polyurethane. One saving grace factor with this job was, however, that a darkened finish was acceptable. A lighter finish probably would not yield results that would be as successful. It's just, everything worked out right. I can imagine having opened that package and, had to, call back and told them that I'd have to remake everything, but I don't know, by the skin of my teeth, this job got done.